my name is Cassie. This guy over here, his name is William, 14 months old. Can you say hi? Yeah, food in his mouth. Awesome. So again, welcome to the Mommy channel. I am a stay-at-home mom. I work part-time on the weekends, and I had a whole year to think about whether or not to make a video about having kids. And I came to the conclusion, well, why not? It's a great way to give out information, great way to communicate with other people, connect with other parents or soon-to-be parents, and, you know, just have fun sharing my experiences as a mom of this guy. Yeah, so I got a lot of resources using 2 books and a lot of pamphlets given out to me free by programs, and when I went to the hospital and delivered him, and I'll probably put those towards the end of the video so you can look at them and, you know, do a little bit of research yourself. And you can see that I didn't come up with any of this information. I just read and just put it together to make this video. So 2 books that I used are Heading Home with Your Newborn, From Birth to Reality by Jana and Jennifer Shu. The 2nd edition, 2005 is the year they published it. These 2 authors are not only mothers, but they're also pediatricians. So most of the information that they provide in their book is pretty accurate. The 2nd book that I used was What to Expect the First Year by Heidi Murkoff and Arlene Eisenberg. They are not doctors, they are just moms, and Heidi published a lot of books. She's pretty wealthy, you could say, and I'm assuming that all the information she gathered, she did her own research, or she had people help her. So it's really up to you to decide to, you know, read her books or not. It got mixed reviews. Some say that her information is inaccurate. I guess he thinks the same way. But just know that those are the 2 books that I got most of my information. Mostly the one by Dr. Jana and Shu. Yeah. And the main topic that I'll be talking in this video is breastfeeding and breast milk. Yeah, you want to get out? Or you want your milk? Is that what it is? You want your milk? There you go. So, why breast milk? The reason is because it's the ideal food for infants. It has a perfect mix of ingredients. It has fatty acids, DHA and ARA, which are huge in eye and brain development. And it provides kids great antibodies in order to fight off infections, allergies, vomiting, diarrhea, asthma, diabetes, pneumonia, meningitis, and it lowers the risk of sudden infant death syndrome, which is also known as SIDS. And I personally breastfed this guy for about 10 months, right? 10 months. A lot of work, a lot of pain, that's for sure, but totally worth it. And then the reason why I only was able to last for 10 months is because that this guy kind of used the boob as a way to put himself to sleep. Are you done with the milk? Do you want bread? And it got to the point that I couldn't take it anymore. I wanted to be my own person again and sleep and whatnot. And it was a discussion between my boyfriend and I of how to wean him off the breast and switch him to formula and figure out a way to help him relearn how to put himself to sleep. So yeah, it was a tough journey, but it worked out because now he drinks cow's milk. Since he's 14 months, he can do that. So they've shown in recent studies that the IQ in babies that are breastfed are slightly higher than formula-fed babies. So don't feel discouraged. If you are choosing to feed your baby formula, it does not mean that they're going to be behind the curve. It just means that they've seen a slightly higher increase in IQ in babies who are exclusively breastfed. So that's a plus if you're still trying to decide whether to breastfeed or not, or to do a combination of both. And if you can, do it for at least a year, if not longer, depending on your comfort zone and the comfort zone of your partner and of your kid. So if it's all mutual beneficial, keep on going. It's all good. I think it'd be pretty cool. I tried to do it, couldn't do it. It was too much. 10 months was good for me. Just know that if you do breastfeed your kids, they tend to be a bit more leaner than your formula-fed babies. And that's because the breast milk has the exact amount of calories and fat that the baby won't store it excessively in comparison to babies that are fed with formula. And always keep an eye out if you do a combination of both, or if you do formula, because it is said that chubbiness is projected to become obesity in young kids, and we don't want that. And always consult with your pediatrician when in doubt, because they'll help you how to keep track of your baby's eating habits in order to make sure that they're healthy. And just know that it is your legal right to breastfeed in public, and anyone who tells you otherwise can hit the high road and mind their own business. Oh, bless you. Oh, bless you. And yes, there will be people who will pull out the modesty card and feel uncomfortable. You want this? Feel uncomfortable seeing a boob out in public. To each to their own. But honestly, being a mommy is not easy. Babies do not have a strict eating schedule. They will get hungry in the most unexpected or worst moments ever. And you know what? Just give your baby what he or she needs and just pop that baby right out. I'm talking about the boob, not the actual baby. And just feed that baby in public. End of story. And if you do feel uncomfortable about it, just put a blanket over it. You know, if you want to be considerate of other people or not, you know, do what you want. But for those people who are very judgmental or feel uncomfortable, just walk in the other direction and pretend that you just did not see the boob. You know, I mean, it's part of nature. I mean, it's not like you've seen boobs in movies and whatnot, and yet that's still okay. Yeah, I don't understand that either. So yeah, remember, legal right for you ladies. Okay, so stages of breast milk. You're gonna have colostrum, which will produce once you deliver your baby, and it will last about a week. And it's usually yellowish and super thick, and it comes down pretty slow, which is why some babies will find it difficult to nurse the first few days, but it's okay. It's completely normal, ladies. Don't feel like you failed or it's meant to be easy or natural for you. It's not. Whoever told you it is probably got lucky, or I don't know. Anyways, just know that colostrum is high on nutrients but low in fat and calories, which is why babies or newborns have to eat every 2 and 3 hours or so. And that makes sense. Nature works wonders. And just know between 2 to 5 days you'll get your transitional milk, which is less yellow, becomes more clear and more watery, and that will have higher calories and fat, which will help your baby to grow bigger and healthy. And if you don't get your transitional milk within a week or so, definitely discuss it with your doctor and pediatrician to figure that out ASAP, because what is important here is to feed your kid. Make sure that they are healthy. And you'll notice that you are producing enough milk is when you do see that milk become watery and more clear. And if your boobs tend to, you know, if you feel like your boobs are getting heavier or bigger, then you know you're producing a lot of milk. And for some women, you will probably experience some leakage. And in a different video, I'll discuss ways of having to deal with leakage. But just know that it's completely normal. And just remember the whole demand and supply concept. The more you nurse your child, the more milk you will produce. So just remember that. And then again, when in doubt, discuss it with your pediatrician. You may notice that when you do nurse the first few weeks, you will be experiencing cramps. And that is completely normal. It is. It just means that your body is sending signals to your uterus. to tell it to shrink back to size. And that is good because, you know, we all want to be back in our pre-pregnant figure. And you would also have your body recover more quickly, and that's always a plus because you always want to be healthy, especially when you're having to take care of young people like this one right here. And it would also decrease the likelihood of uterine bleeding, and it would give you the less likelihood of having cancer in your uterus. So that's always awesome. So you're going to be asking, well, how can I become a pro at nursing my kid if it's so hard to do? Just know that it's all about trial and error. It takes time, practice, self-educating, and training to get a hang of it. And it's okay that if you don't get it right the first time. There's always room for improvement. Always ask help from the nurses or your partner because it's never easy. And it's not always comfortable. You'll probably have pains in your lower back. I sure did. And I sure used pillows to support my back and arms when I had to hold this big chubby one to nurse. And just know that some babies are faster learners than others. So just remember, learning process. Always ask help. And you wonder, well, when should I nurse my baby once I deliver? In the book by Jana and Shu, they recommend as soon as possible. So if that's within minutes of delivering your baby, go right ahead. Don't wait for someone to tell you to do it. But if you would prefer to have your baby weighed, cleaned, and made sure that he or she is healthy, and then breastfeed, then go right ahead. But the sooner the better. To each to their own. And if you do not want to breastfeed and you're going to feed formula, then right ahead, go do that. It does not define your lack of parenting skills. You're definitely not a bad mom if you decide to feed formula. Okay, make sure to be comfortable when you breastfeed because it is a hassle sometimes, especially if your baby is huge. Make sure to find some entertainment, whether it's watching TV, reading a book, reading a magazine, or chatting to someone while you're nursing. If they feel comfortable, by all means, go right ahead. Or you can just watch your baby eat because it's so cute. It really is, and it's a great bonding experience. All right, so you're going to have certain holding positions. You're going to have the cradle hold, the cross cradle hold, the football hold, and the side-by-side or lying down hold, which is my favorite. That's the one I did the most. I just laid a blanket on the floor, popped him right in the boob, chilled, watched TV, and then usually passed out. We both passed out after every nursing when he was younger. It was great because it sure was tiring. At first, I mean, it's still tiring, but it's fun. And it's okay if you do end up falling asleep while nursing your baby because the hormones that it releases makes you more calm and sleepy. And so some mothers have reported like falling asleep while nursing. Just make sure don't roll over your baby or that nothing happens while you guys are both sleeping. Make sure you're in a secure area. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you do want a full description of these positions, you could definitely find this book or look it online. It's easy access. Now you'll probably be wondering about the schedule. Well, like how often should I feed my kid? Rough estimate would be between 2 to 3 hours. That's what I did with this one because he was mostly breastfed for the first 5 months, and then I integrated formula because I had to go back to work and I wanted the dad to bond, and so it worked out. But it was a struggle at first, that's for sure. Try to nurse as little as possible at night and see if that works out because you'll get more sleep for sure. But if not, your baby has to wake up in the middle of the night and feed, go right ahead, follow your baby's lead. They know the best out of everyone these first 3 to 5 months. But if not, and if your baby is able to sleep through the night, they'll mostly wake up between 4 to 5 hours to eat, so that's not too bad. and over time it will get better because they will try to cluster feed towards the end, meaning that they'll try to eat as much as possible in a short period of time in order to like fill up their tank before just calling it quits for the night. And then again, it's different by baby, so just play it by ear. How to keep track of the intervals: you can start it at the beginning of the meal or when the baby finishes his or her meal. So let's say you start at 11, you feed your baby at 11, takes him or her 15 minutes to eat on each breast. Then you'll know that around 1, that's 2 hours, 1 to 2, they'll probably start their next feeding. So you can do it that way. You could decide between using just one breast for each feeding or using both breasts to just keep it even, and just letting them nurse just shorter periods of time on each breast rather than just one long time on one boob and then the next one on the other boob. Let's see, what else? It may feel like a prison sentence. It's okay. It will get better over time, and if you have the opportunity just to stay at home with your little one, do it. It's awesome. Let the boobs out. No modesty card is thrown. Do whatever you want. But if you can't, be okay knowing that you can feed in public. That you can feed in public, and no one can tell you otherwise, and you can keep doing what you usually do. You just, have a little one attached to you. It's all good. It gets better. You got to make the best out of these tough situations. Why you keep dropping it, boy? Oh, there you go. You're so heavy. Okay. And then again, remember that if your baby is having trouble latching on or eating, it does not define your position as a mother. It does not make you a bad mom. It's just not as easy as everyone thinks, It just takes a lot of practice, and always ask help. So going back again to the frequency of how much your baby eats, another way you can think of it is a minimum of 8 to 12 feedings per a 24-hour period day. So just know that if your baby has eaten between 8 to 12 times a day, he's in good hands. And then again, consult your pediatrician when you are in doubt. And try to avoid your child not eating more than 2 times. Meaning, let's say your baby's having trouble eating, or he or she gets sick, and so she or he is maybe eating a little bit or isn't hungry, like after 5 or 6 hours. Be concerned and contact your pediatrician in order to make sure that the baby's okay, or they figure out what's wrong with the baby, because some babies can be intolerant to breast milk or formula, and you might have to try a different formula that is easier to digest. And if your baby does skip 2 meals, definitely take them to the doctor ASAP to get that figured out, because it could be something very serious. And just a reminder that your baby will have growth spurts expected like the first 2 to 3 weeks after delivering your baby, and then 6 weeks, and then 3 months, and then 6 months. And that basically means that your baby is less easily satisfied after each feeding. They're more fussy. They seem to be hungry all the time and not care about food like this one. And you'll notice your baby growing faster, meaning that they'll probably get heavier or a bit longer or more active. And just know that that's completely normal. It happens for 1 to 2 days. And almost all babies experience that. And if you do feed your baby formula, it might be easier to please your kid, because you just add an ounce or 2 extra. But for breastfed, your boobs might not produce enough milk for that moment, but just know if you keep nursing your baby more frequently, you will produce more milk, and it will balance out at the end of the day. And it just takes 1 1 to 2 days for that to set in course, and then it'll be all back to normal to a almost pretty steady feeding schedule. And then I mentioned cluster feedings. That's when your baby eats a lot in a small period of time. It's very common and it varies. It could be very long sessions or it could be very short. So don't worry. And if that happens, it just means that your baby's possibly having growth spurts or trying to get ready to take a very long sleep. Just know that newborns are expected to lose between 7 to 10% of their birth weight. And that's between 1 to 2 weeks. And then they'll gain that back after those 2 weeks. And if they aren't gaining that weight back, definitely consult your pediatrician. And that is about it for the moment about breastfeeding. So if you definitely liked what I said, or you enjoyed this watching this video, or if you even enjoyed just this little guy being a goofball, like the video, subscribe to the channel so you can see more of this guy over here. Yeah, more of this guy. And please leave any comments. I would love to hear about you guys. If you do have any critiques, can you make them critical and constructive? That way I can improve in any way. And that'd be great. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time. Can you say bye, William? Say bye. No, he'd rather play with the computer.